That's the power of community, where when you make some connections and when there are vibes which are matched, then you see great results. We have more than 300,000 users. They are spending around 30 minutes on an average on daily basis. They have redeemed more than 300,000 deals so far. So it's fascinating to see when people wake up 5 a.m. and they come on Champhunt and they say good morning.
Welcome, Samir Kanva.
Thank you so much. How are you doing today?
I am doing great. Welcome to the Oka One World Family podcast, where we like to say Ichigo, Ichie, everything in the moment, creating a conversation as we go. So thank you for
Pleasure
being
to be
here.
here. Thank you so much for
Yes.
having me here. I'm excited to talk it through,
Yes.
see how it goes.
So you are the founder and CEO of Champhunt and community builder in a sense.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yeah, I have been part of various communities while growing up. I have always seen how communities help you become a better human being. And then I am what I am because I had, people and support from my community. So I strongly believe it's better to have like-minded folks or someone around you where you can share your experiences, talk to each other. So I know there is very strong support from the folks around you. So yes, I love what I do, and that's where it started. So that's how I came up with the idea where I wanted to build a community for one particular sport.
Tell us a little bit about your company and why you started it.
Okay, so it's gonna be a little bit of longer answer.
Go ahead.
I was born and raised in a very small town in India, and like every other Indian kid, when I was growing up, I wanted to become a cricketer or contribute in that space. So cricket was all around us. That's what we saw when we were growing up. But like every other middle class Indian parents, my parents wanted me to be either engineer or a doctor. So I'm a mechanical engineer by education, but I'm a product guy by profession. I have always been in product building, product management. I have scaled products in different domains, but I'm a sports enthusiast by passion. So always wanted to contribute when I was working in aerospace industry. Then I moved into retail industry. I worked in mortgage insurance, but sports was always there. When I was playing game, it taught me a lot of things. It taught me how to take rejections, how to take failures, how to turn failures into successes. So it gave me core value. So I always wanted to contribute in this space. And then when I was doing my research, there were so many pain points that we have identified, but one of them was a cricket fan has to go on hundreds of different platforms to fulfill their needs. There is no unified community where people can connect with each other, share their experiences, and have some fun. And that's where Champ Hunt was born, where I wanted to get all the stakeholders of the game on a same platform and give them opportunity to showcase their skills and connect with broader community. So that's how Champ Hunt came in picture. And then there is a whole lot of other angles where how we can, it's a double-sided market where users do activities, they score runs, which is our in-app currency, and then you redeem runs to get some exclusive deals and discounts. So one side we are catering to the users and fans, we are engaging them, doing different activities, but there is other side of the business, which is we are providing sports brands and companies to promote their products and services to this highly engaged audience. So yes, Champant is a double-sided market where brands promote their products and services by extending some exclusive deals and discounts, and then users, they get engaged, they score runs, they redeem deals, and then they repeat. So that's what the product is all about.
I'm sure it's a lot of work, but you've been seeing it growing. And in the journey that you've been having, getting to this and now operating it, there's always like this persona that we are when we start something, and then we starting in the middle to evolve into kind of like what I call from maybe the game A to game B, which is part of the theme of this podcast, how we are evolving as humans as we grow. Tell me, I see you're smiling, so tell me what's coming up when you hear that.
So when I see myself when I was growing this tiny little seed, which is still growing, my own baby Champhunt, it was just me who came up with an idea. I shared it with my wife. She supported me. She said, "Yes, I mean, this has some potential." Didn't know how to take it, didn't know where it's gonna go, did not know how it's gonna land. But we decided to go for this journey. And it's fascinating. I've learned a lot of things, and I'm still learning. I know there is a lot to learn more, but there were hurdles. There are still hurdles, but when we started, we saw lots of up and downs. And then when users were coming in organically, they were being engaged. I still spend at least an hour with my users just to understand what are their pain points, what they really need, and then so that I'm solving the right set of problems. So there were users, they identified that I'm struggling with some things because I'm solo, and then it was just very small, two, three people who were helping me from tech side. There were some users, they extended their help. They asked me if I we can do something, and then they didn't want anything in return. They did not even charge me anything. Those users are still with me. They are still part of community, and now they are getting more users and more business for me. So that's the power of community, where when you make some connections, and when there are vibes which are matched, then you see great results. And that's where Champhunt is today. Now we have more than 300,000 users. They're spending around 30 minutes on an average on daily basis. They have redeemed more than 300,000 deals so far. So it's fascinating to see when people wake up 5 a.m. and they come on Champhunt and they say good morning. When I see that, I smile like what I have created, where people think about Champhunt when they open their eyes every day in morning. So that is satisfying at the end.
That's beautiful. And where do you see it going? Like, where would you like it to be in a year and 5 years from now?
So yeah, definitely I have long term goals, and then there are personal goals where I want it to be, where I want people to use it and provide a platform to tier 2, tier 3 city where I come from. When I was growing up, I never saw a cricket ball until I moved to a metro city for my education. So we used to play cricket with tennis ball, and that's still the case. There is huge talent pool which is going unnoticed because there are not enough facilities, there are not enough coaches. People do not have confidence to Parents don't send their kids to metro cities to play a sport to support them because it's highly competitive. So personally, I would want Champ Hunt to be a platform where users from smaller towns, villages, and cities in India use this to showcase their skills, and then they get drafted somewhere and then ultimately play at highest level. So that's going to be my personal goal. But obviously from business standpoint, there are different KPIs that we measure. So one of the major KPIs would be it should be a go-to platform for any cricket fan for any of their needs. So be it what like checking live scores, be it sharing their favorite moments from particular match, or content creation, or anything that is related to cricket. Champ Fund should be their go-to platform, and it is a huge fan base. It's 2.5 billion fans across the globe, 640 fans alone in India. So it's massive. So would love to see Champ Fund at some point being number one platform for cricket fans.
That's not a bad goal to aspire in. And there's like this bridge between people from all over the world, and you're doing. Let's bring this a little bit to you on the personal side, kind of to understand. Obviously, you want this to be successful, be more people. That would obviously bring more financial reward. But if you set that aside, at the end of the day, every business you start, it becomes successful. at one point. It doesn't matter like already how much money there is. That doesn't increase your level of happiness, right? Tell me a little bit how your life fulfillment gets connected with that, and where do you aspire to be or to grow into? It could be anything.
Yeah, like I said, I have been a product builder always. I always wanted to build something meaningful and which is solving real world problems. It's not just about money, it's about creating an impact, it's about making small differences at a larger scale. So, we'll give you one example actually. So, there is one girl, she is 12-year-old. She lives in a suburb near in India. She has huge potential. Her father wants her to play cricket professionally, but he is not able to support her because it's all very expensive. The kids are expensive, academy fees, coaches, everything is expensive. And then he wants to support her. So that's where Champhunt and its community comes in picture, where we give helping hands to each other and make difference. So I will sleep peacefully if I can create a small difference in anyone's life, like this girl, where she gets an opportunity to represent for the country, where she gets an opportunity to at least fulfill her own dream when she grows up. That's the difference that I want to create. So for me, financial success is, yes, I mean, it's absolutely important, but that will come. I believe in following the process. If you follow the process, outcome is going to be there. So I don't care about the outcome. I care about following the process. But the ultimate success would be someone like that girl or someone who is underrepresented from a humble background gets an opportunity to represent his or her country. I think then I have achieved whatever it's meant to be there.
Yes. Do you have kids today?
Yes, I have a 5-year-old girl and she's growing fast.
Are you planning to have cricket in their worlds as well?
Ah, she watches cricket with me. When there is match and if I'm watching in on TV, she comes and sits with me. She asks me a bunch of questions. So I can definitely see that she's curious about it, but I don't want to force her. Obviously, she has a different personality as well. Right now, she prepares her own songs. She sings it, whatever she wants to do, like express in that mode. She does it. So I don't know if it's gonna go that way or this way, but I would be happy if she wants to pursue cricket. And US is getting decent traction in cricket, so hopefully yes.
Beautiful. One of the things that I've been asking myself lately is how is like entrepreneurs and community builders that we are building around different themes, how can we connect together? And it really has been my dream to, how can I support what you're doing and vice versa. Today, when you saw the Oka One World family, I reached out to you. I was like, let's do this. Might be fun. We never know what we're going to talk about. I don't have a specific set of questions, so it could flow to anything. But I'm curious, how can collaboration happen? I'm kind of like in the game B of life. Like, how can I support you? How can a bunch of people that are out there to seek impact to do better things can give away, their focus on whatever that they are doing and be able to make space and time to others for the sake of a better cause? How can we more unite together? Tell me if anything comes up when you hear this question.
There are so bunch of things that I can think about. But first of all, you have done amazing job building Pass Right, and I'm sure it has helped a lot of people fulfilling their dreams. You have actually made difference in people's life. So you know, getting something, learning from that experience would be super helpful because it's not easy keeping yourself motivated, hearing people's sad stories. I'm sure people must have came to you like with bunch of stories, and then that your heart melts sometimes that I can only do so much, and then I I cannot give everything to the person. So that experience, how you took it, how you implemented things, and then how you managed to keep yourself sane, because I would go crazy, because immigration is a real challenge in this country, that I've experienced first hand experience in that. So would love to actually know more. How did you manage, and how was your experience building past, right?
I forgot that you know about this and that you've been, in a sense, familiar with me creating that. That was over 10 years ago. And actually, I did go crazy at the end in the sense that actually, when I started it for pure profit purposes, I was more like the old me who was more out to get money for himself and for the family, not to like make an impact in the world. I thought it would be nice to sell it. Like, oh, here's something good that I can be part of, but I wasn't really connected to that doing. But then after some years of being into it, actually what happened is that we weren't making a lot of money, but I was being sucked into every single person that I would meet and want to help. Because at the end of the day, I started it because I was kind of like an immigrant in the US that came to try to fulfill a dream. And that dream turned into actually a terrible burnout for myself, which led me to move to Costa Rica. And today I live in Thailand. So that's where like over a decade has passed. But I discovered impact through that work because, funny enough, I helped a lot of people from India, and that catered to my ongoing relationship with India that started when I was 21, and I traveled there, and I had kind of like a spiritual connection, study to India, and then I would help so many people from India. And today, my co-founder from is from India. He coined that term, the One World Family. But yeah, at one point I was helping a lot of people, and I was already like staying over hours, staying very long off hours in the office, and it wasn't about making money. It was just trying to help. But from helping nonstop, at one point I forgot about myself, and days flew by, and I wasn't paying attention enough to my relationship, and I wasn't eating well, and I was exercising, but I wasn't really like in the right vibration, and I ended up in a terrible burnout, which led me to move to Costa Rica and try to like live a more like a life that is slower. But it doesn't matter if you go from the US to a beach in Costa Rica or to Thailand. If you're an entrepreneur and if you're into the doing and the making, you're gonna be doing and making. It's intrinsic in us. And by the way, that's something interesting to talk about because I'm sure there's always more to do. It's never ending story of how much you could work. How do you balance yourself with all this, with the growth and
That's one of the biggest challenge that I have in front of me right now, because most of my team is in India. So I have to obviously work late night hours. And then, like I mentioned, I have a 5-year-old daughter. She also needs attention. And then I don't want to miss any milestones. I want to be there. I want to create memories with her so that we can cherish it when she grows up. So balancing things where I'm present for her childhood memories, her important events, spending time with the family. But on top of it, when you're building something and then your team needs you, your product needs you, we are fairly in early stages. So you have to wear a number of hats. Thankfully, I have someone who's taking care of engineering, but then there is marketing, there is sales, there is fundraising, there is a bunch of partnerships and stuff. So I'm losing a lot of sleep over this, how to strike balance between this, still figuring it out. So one of the challenges that I mentioned, like, but the biggest one is when you have remote team, and when you are a growing startup. So currently it's not just me, but I'm responsible for individual families who are associated with my employees as well. So I'm trying to balance that. How did you do it? So I'm sure you also had team, and then you also had, like, when you were building your first company.
Do it
Really? You
today, by the way.
Oh yeah. So how do you manage? I mean, I try to spend. So what I have what worked with for me so far is I've kept a fixed time every day. Let's say 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. I reduce my screen time. I don't have any screen time. I don't check my phone. I don't check my laptop. No emails. Nothing. It's purely family time. I play with my daughter a couple of hours. I take her for biking, and then as soon as she sleeps, 8:30ish, half an hour I take a little bit for myself, and then after 9 o'clock I start my day again, and it goes on till 1 a.m. So that's the grind that I am in right now.
Thanks for sharing about that. And then you wake up early in the morning and do it all over again, right?
5:30.
That's
Yeah.
so. One of the things I adopted only this year is taking naps. So I take most of the days when I'm home and I'm not traveling, I take a nap now.
Okay.
So that has been a huge change. And a nap, in a nap it could be 20 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
It gives you so much more strength. I have different things. Funny, I've been thinking a lot about this. So today I have, so I think, there is like spirit, there is body, right? And you need to kind of feed both. And I think that there is like different practices that now, right now I'm traveling. I'm actually doing this call with you. I'm in China right now.
Oh, nice.
And I will have a call with the US and Costa Rica tonight at my 10:30. So I'm still living this. I hope to not live it all of my life, but today I'm doing it with more balance. So first of all, Saturday is my day. I don't do anything that has to do with work. Sometimes I just I spend time on the phone, but I try to call my family, try to more be with my wife. I try to just not do anything on Saturday. So it's my day. It's the Jewish way, you can call it. I have this note in front of my desk every day when I get to my desk. So I read, and over there are all the stuff that I noticed that I'm having a hard time with. So I have this thing where it says, don't be right, be smart, don't judge, be compassionate to everyone today, say thank you for what you have, for having this, for being able to do this. Only say what's right, listen deeply. And then also, there's no fear. And put the past behind. The river is flowing. So I have all these like things that I've written to myself. And mostly, I think that this helps me keep my enthusiasm with what I do. And I think that I've coined the term when I started Oka Onward Family that slow one wins the race is like my philosophy. I didn't coin this term, it was coined by others, but I've coined the term for Oka. Oka is around slowness, and I'm going to take the time and not try to scale anything. And that mindset has given me not less work,
Oh yeah,
but it's
of course.
giving me this satisfaction that keeps me enthusiastic with my day. But I think it's all around like balance today. My eating habits are great. Like when I lived in the US with Password, I was eating hamburgers like almost every day. That was
Yeah.
really bad. And I had bad habits. Today I train more and I take time. So if one day I train, the next day, like I do a little bit of yoga and stretch and meditate. Now I'm in Thailand, I found Qigong. So I'm practicing that twice a week. And wow, I didn't know that was so powerful because I've been to yoga for many years, but at one point it stopped doing anything and I felt like I need something else. On Sunday, where I live, we go to what we call the Sunday church, which is we go dancing. I do a lot more things for myself nowadays. And sometimes with the family and with traveling, we all get out of balance. I don't think there is a recipe of how to do it, but I think it's really important to create depth around the relationships that you have because the more you are engaging with people around transactions, the more you lose part of yourself in the matter. So it's more about, it's also related to purpose and being connected to purpose. I like to believe that the main purpose, like let's call it the primary focus of all humans, is to live and learn and grow and develop and mostly learn about love. and try to do everything with love. And so whatever happens, that the difficulty, it's because we are here to learn something. And so I try to keep this philosophy about like my purpose, which is to learn, grow, and develop. And the secondary purpose that I have found through some coaching with a really awesome coach, I can recommend you. He's not very expensive if you want.
Sure.
Was that for me, it's more about seeking freedom and peace for myself and for others. So if I'm in that sense bringing you that freedom or that peace from this conversation, or as long as I bring it to others, I'm aligned with that purpose. And then I don't have it at my home, but before my previous home, because we recently moved, I had this sign behind my computer and it said that all beings live life of freedom and peace. So I remind myself that. So having these little notes around things that you kind of, I like to say, like I'm constantly brainwashing myself for happiness, for gratitude, for the things that create meaning. Because at the end, there is this hunger for meaning, especially if you're not surviving anymore. And it's always easy to meditate when you're not surviving.
Right.
I think that you're from India and you kind of grew up with a certain like sense of community. And me in Israel, I also grew up with that sense. And then when you come to the US and you start a company, this is the hard journey because you don't have that community next to you and you need to recreate it. And it's important to keep ourselves like our wholeness within the journey. And that's why entrepreneurs want to get together. We want to support each other and bring these conversations to the world because they give us certain meaning. I hope. Otherwise, what are we doing here?
But yeah, I mean, that is
Yeah.
true. Thank you so much for sharing everything that you do. And then I think, there has to be a pattern, a fixed pattern, because there is no fixed formula, but there has to be a pattern where that keeps you motivated enough to wake up in the morning and then do the stuff. But it should also give you a purpose for doing what you are doing. One other habit that I have engraved in me is before I go to sleep, I read at least 10 to 15 pages, which is not related to, to business. So, which is nothing related to what I'm doing or what I should do, nothing related to product management, nothing related to how to earn money, nothing related how to win. It's all anything apart from that, which actually disconnects me from my work and which disconnects me from the world that I'm living in. So that has been helping me a lot to get some good sleep. Otherwise, when I go to bed with those meeting notes in my head, it continuously pops up. So I have seen that it has helped me a lot. So yeah, I mean that's one
Yeah.
thing that I'm trying.
Lately, I started practicing that when I open my eyes, if you don't have a baby crying or your daughter running and you need to, but if you somehow wake up a few minutes before the moment you actually need to get out of bed and nobody's not grabbed the phone, just relax for a minute, look at the ceiling and just look at the ceiling. Just try to have that moment. It could be meditative, but not necessarily. It's just, wait a minute. I'm just going to intentionally not wake up fast and start doing things.
Mm-hmm.
If you have your partner next to you, if you can hug her for 5 minutes. Mine, usually she's still sleeping and I don't want to wake her up.
I can relate to that. Yes. Yeah, I love to use daylight as much as I can. So I prefer to wake up early. That gives me some time for myself in the morning as well. So yeah. But yes, I will keep that in mind. I will try that for sure. Thank you so much for sharing.
do, do you see yourself staying to live in the US or in North America over the long run?
That's a
I
tricky
know it's a
one.
trick question.
Right. See, there are pros and cons. Where I come from, we have a very strong social bonding. We have, huge families around. We have strong ties with families. And then now that I am here, I have been here for last 18 years. My wife is here from last 15 years. And then when our daughter is growing up here. So going back, it's gonna be a cultural shock for my daughter, and then I don't know how she will cope up with that culture. So we definitely feel sometimes our family needs us. Parents are aging. At some point, they won't be able to travel often here. We see them once a year, maybe twice if things work out well. But once a year for 2 weeks, that's not enough. And then if we are not there when they really need us, then what's the point of having all materialistic things around you? So we think about it. But then when the reality hits that we also have someone else now who we are responsible for her future, we want to give her good education, good environment, clear sky, good air, clean water. So those are the things which are still kind of keep us thinking we will have to stay here. So to answer your question, we are in two minds. One mind says you have to go back and then you have to be there for your family, and second mind says now this is your family as well. This country has given us a lot. This country has given me a lot, so I owe this society a lot of things that I should give it back. This country or this society has given me a sense of freedom, financial freedom. I don't feel being judged here for anything that I do. That's again another level of freedom that you have. It has exposed me to a different world altogether because I'm living in the highest competitive world, but technology has given me a lot. Whatever comes first in the world is exposed or it's introduced here. So I get that advantage of having early access to everything that is happening in the world. So I feel like I owe to this community, I owe to this country, I owe to this society as well. And then when I am in position to give something back, I should not run away from here, and then I should actually stay here and give it back to the community. So probably, and then you never say never, but I feel like we will be spending good amount of time here.
I'm the person who started the immigration company, got the green card, and then left and never came back. What came to me when I heard you say this is something that my mother told me. And she said, one day you'll have a kid, and what you're going to give to that kid, your kid is never going to give you back. They're just going to give it to their kids. And that has helped me to not return back to
I
Israel
can see that happening.
in a sense and really live a more fulfilled life for myself. My parents are doing well and they're surrounded with family and they're doing good and everything is okay. But yeah, it's so much more complex to go out there to the world, achieve your dreams, and then there's always something simple that the people don't do that they always gain that you don't, right? The closeness to the family, the friends from always, and all these things.
Yeah. I feel like that's the biggest trade off, leaving your family, leaving your friends, coming here, even though it provides better opportunities, better lifestyle, everything is way better. Just last week, I lost one of my closest friend. I couldn't do anything. I mean, I knew that he is hospitalized. I knew that he is in pain, but I couldn't go back. I couldn't travel. I couldn't be there for him. That's the trade off that you do. And that's the biggest trade off that you have to. So, yeah, I take it with pinch of salt, but
Um,
life goes on.
I always feel like I kind of want to have my cake and eat it too. And in a sense, I have been living that because somehow with me, every 5, 6 years, like I'm starting a new chapter, and that has its benefits and it has also its toll. But yeah, thank you for sharing about that. We've spoken about the depth of being an immigrant, an entrepreneur, the power of the positivity that your impact brings, and also the sacrifices that comes with it. and also some tips and tricks about how we deal with it. Ask you this one last question with maybe of depth. It's something that we practice when we do the workshop that I facilitate the pods, which by the way I'll invite you for because we really go deep there. There's no small talk. If you knew that you have two two more years, 2 more years to go. That's it. There's only 2 more years left. So what would you do differently?
You got me thinking there.
Only
Only two
2 years.
years, lot to cover. Yeah, so I would probably go back to my roots, spend some time with my family out there, take my daughter, show her how I was brought up, how my childhood was, and then would try to give her some values that traditionally my parents, grandparents gave me, not to just live the life, but become a better human being, be part of the ecosystem. And like I always say, not to focus on the outcome, but believe in the process. So I would love to show how simple life was when I was growing up, and then how complicated I made it with my own hands when I started this founder journey and stuff. So if I have only 2 years, I would love to give my entire experience of my life to my home, people around me there, or the next generation that is there, so that they also know, because I know that these people are still far away from this technology, businesses, and then they're far away from this world. They still live their life very straightforward, 9 to 5, 8 o'clock food, 9 o'clock they go to bed, they start their day at 4 5 ish, and then they repeat. Very simple, straightforward. Obviously they are not exposed to competition, so there is no competition in there, or there are no aspirations to, to be number one. But I would love to show them what the real world is fighting for, what it is there, how it is there. So even if I can give that experience for the next generation, for next generation in my hometown, and simultaneously to my daughter, that how simple the world is, it doesn't have to be this complex. So that even if she, I would love to prepare her for rejections, I would love to prepare her for failures, so that she will be a stronger person at her core. Now I have learned the art of fighting or taking rejections very well, but I'm not sure if this next generation will take rejections that gracefully, because things are brutal out there, and I want to prepare her, and I want to prepare the next generation for that. So I would definitely spend rest of my 2 years with the next generation, giving them what I have, showing them what the world is going after, and then what's happening around the world. But at the same time, I would love to keep the innocence in them alive, intact. And then I would love to show my daughter what the real life was, and then how different it is. I think, yeah, that's what I would love to do.
I enjoyed listening to you in this sense. I keep thinking about, that there is we as like immigrants, entrepreneurs, like we really learn how to grow through discomfort, right? And I don't even know how do you call the next generation? They're not Gen Zs anymore. There's a new name for it now. But and our parents and grandparents have had a much more simple life, but also a very complicated life in their sense. So there's always so much more we could do, but it is interesting. I think that almost any person who is living abroad, when they get asked this question, is yeah, I would come back home for some time and do something a little bit different. It's a question of legacy. It's a question I drawn from this workshop called the Legacy Workshop, where it's kind of like a
I
tackle. I was
see.
like, "What are you going to do? You have 2 more years." I was like, "What?" but but it's a very profound thing to think about in that sense. Yeah. Do you believe in what do you believe happens once you die? Do you believe in incarnation?
Yeah, I do believe in incarnation. Yes, for sure. What are
I
your
actually
beliefs?
also believe in incarnation. The vast majority of our planet is like that. My father always say, there's really no proof for it. Some people claim that they have, but yeah, that complements to the my philosophy around that we're here every time we reincarnate to learn, grow, and develop. And according to that, that's what's happening. That's a common belief nowadays. And yeah, I think that it's beautiful to have this conversation with you. And I'll thank you for the time and for trusting me to do this. And if you, before we go, if you wanna, there's anything else you want to share with the world, with the Yoka One World family community, last thing.
I just want to thank you, first of all, for giving me this opportunity, reaching out to me, having this conversation. Despite of having challenges, you managed it. You had to move your seat, and then but you still continued the conversation. So really appreciate it. Second thing is, you know, I always felt pace is something which makes you like. I love the pace. Shipping faster, failing fast, learning fast, shipping fast. That's what we believe in, and that's how I operate my business. Where I believe in speed and pace. But after having this conversation, meeting with you, looking at your entire energy, the grace, and the smile, feels like sometimes slowing down and taking things with its own course will actually help you to calm down and then to do something meaningful. So I got exposed to a whole new energy today. Thank you so much for having this conversation.
Thank you so much. I'll say one last thing. I think that most relationships and most businesses, most endeavors don't fail because they lack of money or environment or product market fit, but it's because they go too fast. So if it's one thing I also wish for you and for myself and for everyone in this world to go a bit slower and keep this intention of when you go slower, you go deeper.